THEMOSHOW Chicago. And we are BACKAGAIN on another fantastic DAY. Whatever day that is, I refuse to give acknowledgement, you know, to the Nordstrom gods, okay? But whatever day it is, it is. How are you all doing today? Me, I'm absolutely fabulous, and you too should be feeling fabulous today. If you're not, you know, something's wrong with you. It's a great day, sun is outside, but I'm inside. Why am I inside? Well, it depends upon what side of the sun that you are laying in. I'm just saying. Now, here in Chicago, we got a lot of things going on. We got the continuous jackings. We got the continuous robbings. We got the continuous Mayor Fritzers wanting to do this, wanting to do that. But I tell you, today I'm here to talk to you about Pastor Gino Jennings versus the ministers of the Nation of Islam. Yeah, we're cutting through all of the red tape today. And me, being a former member of the FOI and the NOI, it is sad. Sad. This is why General Seti says they are unequipped. They are trash. Garbage. Well, I'm here to tell you this. General Seti is not wrong in a way. But then again, General Seti is wrong in a way. Just think about it. Now, this video was supposed to be done on Mo Power's channel. But seeing that this is a bigger channel than the other channel, hey, who is that? Ethan? What's going on, Ethan? What city and state are you from? I'm glad that you're here, and you could have been somewhere else, but you're here. But I'm glad that you are HERE on THEMOSHOW Chicago, LIVE. Pastor Jennings. Yeah. From the first God of Jesus Christ. I saw a video that came up in my feed about him and the Nation of Islam. Ethan, I'm the only one watching. I'm actually from South Africa. Hey, I want to tip my hat to you from South Africa. There is no telling who is going to be in the room, the chat room. So I thank you, my brother. Who is that? Jason Bender. Jason Bender, what city and state are you from? Hello. This is Wisconsin only station I know from Chicago was WGN and kinds of ministries or ministries. Hey, Billy Graham. Let me write that down right now. Billy Graham's. I'm going to write that down right now because I'm going to get to Billy Superstar Graham later. Because I don't want to interrupt my thought here. Who was that? Meg Doug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fire! That's right, because we got FIRE here on THEMOSHOW Chicago on this live. Now, I had wanted to put this video on my other channel, MOPOWERZ, here on YOUTUBE, but I decided to put it on THEMOSHOW Chicago. And I tell you, it is a worth mining video to watch, especially if you are of religion. If you are a religious person, watch this. And I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. Everybody. I seen a video that come up in my feed where you have Pastor Gino Jennings versus the Nation of Islam ministers. I don't have to think on this. I don't have to write nothing down. Because when the spirit of the universe moves through you, you don't have to write nothing down. I went to sleep thinking about this. And I woke up thinking about this. Pastor Gino Jennings, he don't even consider himself a Christian, which is cool with me. I'm good with that because Jesus never called himself a Christian. That was like how many centuries after or decades after that people be calling themselves Christians. But in this video, I saw that Pastor Gino Jennings destroy some of the Nation of Islam ministers, two in particular. That is Rodney Muhammad and Marvin Muhammad. Rodney Muhammad did not even spend the time to accept what Gino Jennings was saying. It took me 5 hours to watch these two videos. And it is sad because if you are from the Nation of Islam, and I am a former member of the FOI and a junior minister, former, and with the information that they presented to Pastor Gino Jennings was incorrect. Pastor Gino Jennings, or the subject for the matter, was if God created himself in triple darkness, if Allah, God, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you wanted to call him or her, was created in triple darkness. Now, I'm sure, now when you watch the videos, it took me 5 hours to watch these two videos. And in those videos, I saw that the ministers from the Nation of Islam were slaughtered. And I'm a fruit of the Nation of Islam. You know why they got slaughtered? They weren't truly ministers. I'm not defending Elijah Muhammad. I'm not defending Islam. I'm defending the school of thought. I'm defending the school of thought. You have people out here who say that Elijah Muhammad was a pedophile. He had all of these young ladies that was impregnated by him and so forth and so forth. Hell, even Gino Jennings, Gino Jennings said that no black man in America has done for black people like Elijah Muhammad. I like the way that he respected him. Yeah, I like the way that he respected him and what he did and what he accomplished, because Gino Jennings himself could not do what Elijah Muhammad did. He even, from the video, knew more about the Quran than these Nation of Islam ministers did. I can see why General Seti said these ministers from the Nation of Islam is trash. But you know what? Me being a former member of the FOI and a junior minister, I can see where it's coming from. Seeing that you had to deal with Rodney Muhammad from Mosque number 12 in Philadelphia, and you had to deal with Marvin Muhammad, who says that he establishes the new Nation of Islam. Let me tell you something. Marvin Muhammad, who calls himself the Son of Man, you're not the Son of Man. You're not the Son of Man. You are, but you aren't. Why? Because you couldn't even defend that which you say that you stand on. You told the people, the public of the world on social media that you, Marvin Muhammad, from the Nation of Islam, I don't care if it was 9 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 months ago, said that you are the new leader and the new teacher of the Nation of Islam. No, you're not. I could have done better with Gino Jennings versus any of these ministers from the Nation of Islam. And I am a former fruit of the Nation of Islam. You all did a horrible presentation and representation of Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. When did Marvin Muhammad become a member of the Nation of Islam? 1973. And he wants to speak about the triple darkness effect, because that's what the subject matter was really about, and how God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, created himself from triple darkness. But yet and still, you had Marvin Muhammad foolishly say that Elijah Muhammad never said that Allah God was created from a triple state of darkness. He said that that didn't happen. How are you a new minister of the new Nation of Islam? I don't get you, seeing that you came up under Elijah Muhammad back in 1973 and he transitioned in 1975. I don't understand you, Marvin Muhammad from Mississippi, who say that he's the new leader and the new founder of the Nation of Islam. Man, you are weak, whack, and you don't represent the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Pastor Jennings asked him, well, did Elijah Muhammad speak about Allah being born in the triple state of darkness? Marvin Muhammad said no. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Where did y'all get this guy from? Did Gino Jennings pay him? I mean, I really don't know. If you are under the tutelage and mentorship of Elijah Muhammad, you understand that from the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, that Allah God was created from the triple state of darkness. And this minister, Marvin Muhammad, from the new, not the old, from the new Nation of Islam, says that Elijah Muhammad never said that. Where did you all get that guy from? Was he an agent or something? I'm just saying. Was he somebody that you all got from a Cracker Jack box? Marvin Muhammad does not represent Elijah Muhammad nor the old nation of Islam. He does not. Man, I don't have to write a story down, write a script down. Yeah, I'm busy over here on something else while I'm talking to you. I do not have to write a script down. When the universe speaks to you, you don't have to write nothing down. However, during the conversation that Pastor Gino Jennings and Rodney Muhammad was having, Rodney Muhammad left out of the meeting before Gino Jennings could even ask the pastor, could even ask the question of why do you believe that Allah God created himself from the triple state of darkness? Rodney Muhammad was a punk. Rodney Muhammad was a coward. Rodney Muhammad was a bitch. The man left after he gave almost after an hour worth of words to the audience. Yeah, I say you was a bitch because you misrepresented the Nation of Islam. You misrepresented Elijah Muhammad. You misrepresented so as Marvin Muhammad misrepresented the real Nation of Islam. Now, that sort of touched my heart. That touched my heart in such a way because I'm a former fruit and I know what Elijah Muhammad taught. I know that what Minister Louis Farrakhan taught. And Marvin Muhammad obviously is not teaching that, even though he was before my time under the tutelage of Elijah Muhammad in 1973. I understand why General Rossetti say that you all should throw your religion in the garbage can. I understand why Pastor Gino Jennings said that if you are a Muslim or a Christian, and if you don't follow that which is in the book, you should just throw it in the garbage can. I understand that. They were right and exact, which is what the messenger Elijah Muhammad said. Even though you all may have some discrepancies that we'll get to in the end about Mother Clara, about the other two young women that Elijah Muhammad had children by. Oh, we're going to get to all of that. I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have nothing to hide. Rodney Muhammad from Mosque 12 in Philadelphia ran like a bitch. He couldn't even answer the question as of why Elijah Muhammad said that Allah God was created in the triple darkness. And nor could Marvin Muhammad defend that. Gino Jennings asked the question, is there anywhere in the scripture that you can find that? And the answer is no. Pastor Gino Jennings, the answer is no. And the so-called ministers could not say that. But the only thing that they had to do was to say that it wasn't in the Quran. That's all they had to do, was to say that no, what Elijah Muhammad said was not in the Quran. That's all they had to say. They did not even know how to defend the man or his theology or where he was coming from and the mentality that he was giving to the people. It wasn't fake at all if you righteously understood that. In the Quran, in Surah 112, it tells you how Allah himself was created. There was no one before him. He's not begotten. So he was here before it all. But however, there's a discrepancy here. Yeah. And many so-called ministers don't understand it, aka Rodney or Marvin, who said that they were the Son of Man. Wow. This just gets me. This sets me on FIRE, seeing that they got beat up. Yeah, they got their ass smacked. They got their ass smacked by Pastor Gino Jennings. Had you had me up there, Gino Jennings, my ass wouldn't have got smacked. You see, first of all, Pastor Gino Jennings, the conversation or the debate was about if Allah created himself in the triple darkness. Now, for those ministers, Marvin and Rodney Muhammad, they had no idea of how to understand. In fact about it, Gino Jennings put Marvin Muhammad on blast when he said that he don't even know what he's talking about. And I agree with Pastor Gino Jennings on that. You all have presented a weak representation of the Nation of Islam. I'm just saying. You got other brothers and sisters like Brother Melchizedek, that be on other channels here on YOUTUBE that would agree that those were weak teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Like I said, Pastor Gino Jennings even said that he don't even know what he's talking about. And I agree with Pastor Gino Jennings said in regards to Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad. But what got me more so, what led the Nation of Islam in regards to so-called ministers, even though it was a decade ago. Yeah, a decade. Just think, Minister Louis Farrakhan just said, screw it. Y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all not understanding what I'm saying. Y'all think that I'm a joke. Y'all think that I'm a waste of time. And y'all think that I'm just here for entertainment. So he sold you over to Scientology. If I was a minister of Islam or the Nation of Islam, yeah, because he was a minister. The minister was a true imam of the Nation of Islam. Now, granted, that doesn't go with African history whatsoever, because it was Islam that subjugated black men, black women, black children to Islam, which is not culturally or something that African people from Akubalan, Congo, Queen Nzinga will never agree to Islam. Sonny Ali, of the Songhai Empire, maybe he did. Maybe he did a little bit, But the cultural and the nature, see, that's what they fool you at. Oh, we get all into this. Elijah Muhammad did not teach like the Arabs taught. He did not teach that. This is why there was so much a discrepancy between him and the Arabs. Another white man. Another Caucasian man. Arabs are white men. If you look at all of the religions, major religions in the world, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. All of them come from the same tree, meaning that they all come from the same cultural, the white man. The white man developed Judaism, the white man developed Christianity, and the white man developed Islam. Elijah Muhammad did not bring Islam to you like the Orthodox Islam person would to you. Now, just from my research, from my understanding, from that, which is common sense, not from my revelation from the universe or Allah or God or Jehovah or nothing like that. Just from my common sense, yes, Allah had to be created, or God, Jehovah, had to be created from triple state of darkness. According to the religion world, which is nothing but literature, it's not even history. It's not even history. It's literature. You have to remember that religion was something that was supposed to dominate man, which give them the people that is at the top a control of the people that's at the bottom. How do you think that 90% of the people are controlled, whereas you have 10% of the people on top? It's because of religion and governmental structure. Even though government and, state versus religion shouldn't be used in court, but they give you a Bible in court to say that you swear upon. Come on now. It's all a game. But Elijah Muhammad brought to you something that the Arabs didn't. And it wasn't for the Arabs. You understand? What Elijah Muhammad brought to you was for black people in America and worldwide. Didn't have nothing to do with what the Orthodox Islamic Caucasian man brought to you. It was for an awakening of the black people of America and worldwide. Why is that? Malcolm X, one of the most profound members of the Nation of Islam, had a problem with Elijah Muhammad. But the only problem that he had, which he had the right to do so, was that he found out that Elijah Muhammad was having sex with other younger women, and he did what? Had some babies by them. Now, according to the sisters, Elijah Muhammad wasn't giving them support, but they was living in the house. If he wasn't giving you support, how you living in the house? I'm not saying that what he did was right, but there was no law at the time against having sex with a minor. When did those laws come out? I'm just saying. Like in 1968 and 1969, this had already happened. Malcolm was already, in the nation, and this happened while he was in the nation. Does age really have? Yes, it does. If you have a heart, if you have a God common sense. But according to the report, and according to the knowledge that I have, these young women were 17 years old or older. They wasn't 16, they wasn't 15, they wasn't 14. Hell, how many of you all today, right now, that's in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, that want to have sex with a young girl? God ain't got nothing to do with that. God ain't got nothing to do with that. Nothing whatsoever. Even when you read in the Bible, it doesn't tell you a year what the age of a young girl is supposed to be when you have sex with her. There's nowhere in the Bible in that. That's not even up for debate. That's not even in your Torah. However, in the Torah, they do say something different whereas you can fondle young girls, young boys at the age of 2 or 3. I'm just saying. Yeah, y'all think about that. Y'all think about that. But Rodney Muhammad and Marvin Muhammad was not qualified to be on that stage with Pastor Gino Jennings. Maybe they should have called me. Maybe they should have called Brother Numir Muhammad. Maybe they should have called the brother from 19 Keys. Maybe Pastor Gino Jennings should have called out Minister Louis Farrakhan himself. But he didn't. But he didn't. Is there any reason why? Think about that. Why didn't he call out Minister Louis Farrakhan? Minister Louis Farrakhan would have had some different answers for him versus those two non-qualified ministers of the Nation of Islam. Now, granted, Marvin Muhammad said that he never went under the tutelage of Minister Louis Farrakhan, but he went under the tutelage of Elijah Muhammad. Yet, he said that he never heard or Elijah Muhammad never said that God, Allah, created himself in the triple state of darkness. How could you say that when you say that you became a student under the tutelage of Elijah Muhammad in 1973? I understand why General Seti say that you all are bullshit. Real ministers from the Nation of Islam would have not have said that. When you go into the Bible or the Quran, you have some things that's allegorical and non-allegorical. So you mean to tell me that Marvin Muhammad, after reading Surah 6 and reading Surah 112, that you can understand why Elijah Muhammad scientifically put into what he said that Allah revealed to him could not have occurred in Surah 6 and Surah 112. Damn. And if you all don't understand what I'm saying, Surah 6 or Surah 12, and you are a Christian or you are a Bible thumper, it's just like a chapter. Like you have the book of Genesis, you have the book of Deuteronomy, you have the book of Ezekiel and Malachi and all of that. It don't have the names of the individual. It's just a chapter of the book. It's just a chapter of the book. Just from my historical and literacy knowledge, literacy knowledge, because that's what religion is. Literacy knowledge, not historical facts or based. I'm going to say that again. Not historically fact or based is literature to control people. That's what religion is used for. But Elijah Muhammad never taught the orthodox form of Islam. And nor did he learn from Master Farad Muhammad, whereas some people will call him Master Fard or Fake Muhammad. He didn't learn that way. He wasn't taught that way because he wasn't supposed to. Gino Jennings presented a question to Marvin Muhammad from the headquarters in Mississippi of the new Nation of Islam, not the old Nation of Islam. Like I said, he was so dumbfounded that he didn't even know or acknowledge that Elijah Muhammad said that Allah God created himself in the triple state of darkness. You disqualified yourself as being a minister from any nation of Islam, whether it's new or old. Whether it's new or old, you had already disqualified yourself. It was so sad to see that Pastor Gino Jennings had to say that he don't even know what he's talking about. Damn! And he didn't know what he was talking about, but yet he says that he, meaning Marvin Muhammad, is a son of man. Marvin Muhammad even got, sort of arrogant about saying that he was a son of man, but yet couldn't even tell you or explain to you what Elijah Muhammad meant about Allah, God, Jehovah, Yahweh, being created in a triple state of darkness. I could have did better than he did. Look, I don't care if you go into the Torah. I don't care if you go into the Quran. I don't care if you go into the Bible, right? God said, let there be light. Now, some people say that God is the light. If God was the light, spiritually, esoterically, why did he give another light or another two lights, meaning the sun and the moon? It's all about interpretation. It's all about interpretation and in common sense. And Elijah Muhammad was not wrong. If according to all of your main three scriptures that, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they all say that we were created, or this earth was created with darkness and void. Where did the light come from? Stupid. I don't understand why so-called Minister Marvin Muhammad didn't bring that up. I don't understand why so-called Minister Rodney Muhammad didn't bring that up, leaving a black eye to the nation of Islam. I'm not standing up for Islam because I know that Islam, according to the Orthodox Arab structure, enslaved black people. And here you still have Somalians, black people, still running around talking about Allah and Isa and Musa. Hell, I used to teach at a school where there was nothing but Somalians. There was nothing but people from Africa who have been conquered by Islam. And that was given to a white Arab to conquer black people. Yet you have these black people, ministers, talking about how Allah was or wasn't. They couldn't even answer the question of how he or she was created in triple darkness. But I say he because that's what all of the book says. It says that he was a he versus a she, meaning that God, maybe the creator, wasn't a morphodite. That's a whole nother demonstration. We won't get off into that right now. We're going to stick to the subject. What's that, Jason? Hello, this is Wisconsin. Only station I knew from Chicago was WGN. All kinds of ministries, or back the 80s and the 70s. Billy Graham, Jack Van M. Dick, you look like Dick Foreman. George Foreman. I don't look like George Foreman. George Foreman didn't wear glasses. What's up there, Mega Doug? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What city and state that you from? I've been so much involved in this presentation that I did not get to the other 2 or 3 people that were in the chat, and I apologize for that. But whoever you are that's in the chat room, whether you're an agent, whether you are a true subscribed, member of this channel, it don't matter to me because we're dropping SMOKEE. That's right, we got that smoke. If you haven't looked at other videos on this channel, we got that smoke, please go visit. Please go visit and check out those uploads of history, of master teachers. Yeah. If you haven't, go look up the uploads on this channel. But right now, we're talking about the dummies. The dummies. Rodney Muhammad and Marvin Muhammad. I say they're dummies. Even though Marvin Muhammad called himself the Son of Man, yet you could not defend yourself. How could you be a general? Because when you look at the head of a church, that means that they are head of the sheep. Pastor Gino Jennings asked Marvin Muhammad, was he the head of Christ? And Marvin Muhammad said yes. Even Elijah Muhammad didn't say that he was the head of Christ. He said that he was a messenger of God. You see? There's a big difference. And according to what I saw and what I heard, Marvin Muhammad, you're right, you are a student. You're not a minister. You are a student. And if you were a minister of the new nation of Islam, you should have brought something new to the table versus Gino Jennings, who obviously knew what you didn't know about the Quran. Sad but true. But you had this other brother who came at the end of the presentation on the video who said that Allah could not have been created in a triple state of darkness, but he came straight from Scripture. You all could not describe why Elijah Muhammad deviated from Scripture or added to what Allah viewed or revealed to him from the Scripture. See, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. The word is the word according to what is written. Now you must remember, it's just a book. All of them are just a book. Quran, Bible, Torah, whatever, It's just a book. Who wrote those books? Pastor Gino Jennings believes that the King James Version is right, or whatever Bible is right. I don't know which one they study, but he seems not to be a Christian. He just seems to be a pastor who goes by what's in the book. But the books were written by Caucasian men. Yes, Caucasian men. If you look at the video, you will see that the last brother, who's an imam from some Islamic community, said that man is not God. However, according to the Bible, God is man and man is God. It specifically says in the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3, that the Lord God is a man of war. That the Lord God is a man of war. Gino Jennings Didn't have no response to that. I guess because he was quitting while he was ahead. Smart man. Because Gino Jennings knew that it said in the book of Exodus that the Lord God is a man of war. Marvin Muhammad is a bad representation for being a minister of the new nation of Islam, whatever that is, because I personally have never heard of a new nation of Islam. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. And he's from Mississippi. Now, I'm not saying that they slow in Mississippi, but from his presentation, it seems to me that the Mississippians are a little bit slow. How can you call yourself the son of man, Marvin Muhammad, and say that or disagree with the teachings that you got from Elijah Muhammad would set you off on a branch to your own understanding from which you say that Allah gave to you? Hell, even look at 13 Clarence X, okay? Clarence 13X, I'm sorry about that. Came out wrong. Clarence 13X branched off from the Nation of Islam and went his own way and gave a different understanding of what he learned or what was revealed to him from Allah God. You, Marvin Muhammad, did not have a new concept. You didn't have a new structure. You didn't have a new understanding of what you were saying that you are the new nation of Islam. No wonder General said that you all are weak. I wonder if Pastor Gino Jennings, if he would have encountered, Pastor Gino Jennings, if he would have had an encounter with Malcolm X, would the response have been different from what Marvin Muhammad and from what Rodney Muhammad gave him? Rodney Muhammad, I can't have no respect for you, bro. From Philadelphia, Mosque number 12, I can't have no respect for you because you ran from the battle. You ran from the battle and you did not even answer the question, which was the topic, or explain how Allah God created himself from a triple state of darkness. Not even you, Marvin Muhammad, so-called new nation of Islam, headquarters in Mississippi. You are the head of that, and you diverted from the initial topic at hand, but you say that you're a teacher. You are not a teacher. You are not a minister. Maybe you're a teacher, okay? But a minister you are not, and you are not the head of any new nation of Islam. You didn't even bring any new material to the subject matter. You just regurgitated something that didn't make any sense, and you did not answer Pastor Gino Jennings' question about how Allah God created himself from a triple state of darkness. Not even Rodney Muhammad. And then you had another individual who came up on the platform and said that he offered $100,000 to the church that Pastor Gino Jennings was representing, and for the Nation of Islam, of that section. I think it was Mosque number 12. Yeah, it was Mosque number 12. He said that the checks was certified. I would have been like Gino Jennings. Gino Jennings said that they would not have accepted it, and nor would have Elijah Muhammad. He will not accept your $100,000 after you disrespect him in his face and then could not still explain to him about a lie being created in the triple state of darkness. You ninjas are weak, weak, even though the video that I saw was a couple of years ago. Not that I saw it a couple of years ago, but it was produced a couple of years ago and it just came surfaced to me within 2 or 3 days ago. I didn't have to do no research on this. Last night I started to do this live on MOPOWERZ, my other channel, but I didn't. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I just said, I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it. To the morning time where you got people out there in the chat room. People got to go to work in the morning. People sleep. I'm up all night, all day. You know, you can't call me. What they call those people who live at night all days. You know, yeah, nocturnal. You can't call me nocturnal. You can't call me a daylight person. I have no time setting. Just like time is not real until the Caucasian made time real for you. Time's not real. There's no schedule. But there is if you want to live in this society, in this world in which the Caucasian has created for himself. And, he who rules, write the rules. But you have to understand or have common sense enough to know that time never existed. That's a whole nother topic. But we're going to get back to these old bum-ass ministers from the Nation of Islam. Because they're not ministers. Minister Farrakhan has sold the Nation of Islam to Scientology years before Marvin Muhammad, the new Nation of Islam leader and head, the Son of Man, who could not answer the question of about is Allah created in triple darkness. You're not a minister. You discredit the Nation of Islam. You discredit the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. You are a disgrace, Marvin Muhammad. Call yourself a minister. You a joke. No wonder why people make joke of the Nation of Islam. Because of you. Because of you. Minister Louis Farrakhan said that he was done with the Nation of Islam. A couple of years before you and Pastor Jennings or Rodney Muhammad even had this set up with Pastor Gino Jennings. This was way after, a couple of years after, Minister Louis Farrakhan had say, forget you all. And he told you that he was going to forget you all. Because I myself, within my common sense, God-given sense, Allah common-given sense, Jehovah, Yahweh given common sense, would have forgot about you all too after 40 or 50 years putting my life on the line, and you still degenerated. And you still degenerated. So does the devil has more power than God? Yes, according to this world. Even though, like I said, we read literature. Now, I want to present something to Pastor Gino Jennings and Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad. Is there a tomb, a sepulcher, or a place where you had Jesus, Isa, or Muhammad at? Anywhere in the Islamic world or the Christian world or the Bible world, seeing that Gino Jennings is not a Christian, but he's just a straight God man. Was Jesus black? Gino Jennings was Jesus white Gino Jennings, or was he just a what they call Mid-Eastern type of dude? Ain't no Mid-Eastern. Ain't no Mid-Eastern until the 1940s. Like 1946 or something like that. There was no Middle East anywhere. There was no Middle East anywhere. They had the wrong person on stage. And I could not believe that Minister Numir did not battle this man, seeing that you seem to be the number one minister for the Nation of Islam, the old Nation of Islam. You know, that came after Elijah, that ended up with Minister Louis Farrakhan. I can see why you didn't battle this man. I'm just saying. Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad were not qualified as students of the Elijah Muhammad to go against Pastor Gino Jennings. Hell, Gino Jennings, why didn't you call out Minister Louis Farrakhan himself? Why didn't you call out Minister Khalid Muhammad when he was living? Why don't you call out the math doctor for the Nation of Islam? I mean, the old school people. Even though you had this so-called old school person, Marvin Muhammad, which, you know, fraud. I would even say, like General said, he say, man, get your whack ass out of here. I'm tired of you ninjas trying to represent religion. And I don't care what school of thought it's from. It's just religion. They say that right now that the Pope had, you know, pneumonia in both lungs and he suffering kidney failure right now. That man is about to die. When one of your major organs died, you die. Because all of your major organs begin to die when one dies. But y'all say that he's the representative of Christianity on earth. But he has did nothing Christian. He has done nothing Jesus-like, godly-like, none of that for humanity. Did Minister Louis Farrakhan do something for humanity? Yes. Did Elijah Muhammad do something for humanity? Yes. What has the Pope done? Nothing. But say, ah, la, 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 in Hong Sing Lo Winkins, which means that in this sign, meaning the cross, that we shall rule. I'm just saying. But getting back to the whack-ass ministers from the Nation of Islam, you all are whack, man. You all made us look really bad. And I'm a former member for years, for decades. However, when you are an FOI or Nation of Islam, you see flaws, you see faults in the teachings. These people couldn't even get past by the flaws or the teachings. Do you understand? They couldn't even defend the flaws or the teachings. And it was a simple question. It was a simple question. Can you find in the Quran where it says that Allah created himself in triple darkness? The answer is no. What they should have said that, the answer is that's not in the Quran. That's what Elijah Muhammad added to from his revelation. But if you look at it for what it's worth, you know, you can see why he said that scientifically. You have to understand that the Quran and the Bible and the Torah is written in some form of scientific form, or you have to understand the skill of the poet who wrote the book, which was a Caucasian man. You understand? And he was bringing life to black people from an Arab perspective, seeing that Master Farad Muhammad was an Arab. He was a white man. Pastor Gino Jennings asked Marvin Muhammad, could white people join the Nation of Islam? Now that, Marvin Muhammad, you should have had a different answer for him. Seeing that Pastor Gino Jennings asked the question, if no white people can become a member of the Nation of Islam, why was Master Farad Muhammad's wife white? Simple, dumbass ninja. It says in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad that Master Farad Muhammad's father was black and his mama was white, but he made her a good Muslim to the faith. Even Malcolm X went to Mecca, went to Iraq, Iran, whatever, the modern day, okay? Is it Iran or Iraq, the modern day Mecca? Whatever it is, he went there. And he gathered with white Muslim men that believed in the same so-called Allah God. Even though Master Farad Muhammad, according to Elijah Muhammad, came in the person. See, this is the spirit part. This is spirit, not about color, but the spirit, the energy. The energy. You either kinetic or non-kinetic, or you're going to be a fool. What's that? Yeah, brother, E.M. Muhammad, Saudi Arabia. Exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you, brother. I tip my hat to you. Elijah Muhammad said that all white men are devil, but yet he was taught by a white Arab. What do you say about that? My answer to that is Allah comes in any form that he wants to. God, Jehovah, Yahweh. It even says in the book of Hebrews in the Bible that you have entertained angels, yet you are unaware. And you don't know what color they came in. It's not about color. It's about energy. Fools. Y'all may say, oh, you want to look further on talking about fools. But it's all energy. What energy do you connect to? Jesus said, according to Pastor Gino Jennings and all of the pastors around the world, okay, say that, lo, some people call themselves the Christ in Matthew, I believe it's chapter 24. You have people calling themselves Christ and they are this and they are that, and they will deceive you. But that was for his generation, stupid. Gino Jennings didn't get to that part. He didn't continue reading in the book of Matthew, where it was for Jesus' generation, not this generation. So the time is already past. Look, Gino Jennings put a grammar school smash on the so-called ministers of the new Nation of Islam, and Rodney Muhammad, I guess, is an old Nation of Islam, which means he fall up under Farrakhan. Pastor Gino Jennings, since that you are the head shepherd or you are the God of your church. What you say there? Elijah Muhammad taught us God is a being of force and power. He did. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is a power and force. But yet you still had these suckers, fake fraud ministers who didn't even say that. Now that, brother Ian Muhammad, is the true teachings of Elijah Muhammad. That statement that you said right there, God is a power of force, the possessor of power and force. And that's exactly what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. And no one, and I mean no one can dispute that. God is the possessor of power and force. You can't refute that. Even if your higher power is a spoon, even if your higher power is a rock, even if your higher power is whatever you want it to be, you can't refute that which Brother Ian Muhammad said, because that's exactly what Elijah Muhammad taught. God is the possessor of power and force. Where you from, brother? What city and state you from? What mosque are you from? Were you a student under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or were you a student under Minister Louis Farrakhan? And I know that how some people, don't like to use the word honorable with the Elijah Muhammad, but Elijah Muhammad never got charged with rape of any kind. You know why? Because it wasn't a law then. Like I said, how many of you 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds would love to have sex with a 17-year-old girl? How many black women and men have Caucasians have raped that were black women and it wasn't a law? But you don't call them rapists. You're not holding them accountable. I subscribe, chat with you later. Man, alhamdulillah. I appreciate you for subscribing, brother, as a new subscriber to THEMOSHOW Chicago. And if you haven't done so already, for all of you who are in the chat or are viewing that hasn't pressed that button yet, you need to press like, share, and subscribe so that you and the word all to help ensure that you get notifications when I upload videos on YOUTUBE. Those brothers, Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad, were bad representatives for the Nation of Islam. I'm just saying. Pastor Gino Jennings, you should have had me on your show. You can invite me to your show. Yeah, I'm not no small wonder. I'm only small because people ain't heard of me. But I have the brilliance of what more than what they came to you with. Even though that was a decade ago, I even had more common sense back then. I'm just saying. Minister Farrakhan is in retirement right now. Minister Farrakhan really doesn't have anything to do with the Nation of Islam except to receive cash proceeds from all of the work that he has done. And he told you that he was handing you over to the devil. He told you that. And that's exactly what he did. He handed you over to Satan. Scientology. You can't say that the man didn't warn you of what he was going to do. He told you of what he was going to do. I can't blame the man. How many of you all have children that you get tired of? Huh? How many of you all have children that you say, I'm tired of telling you this, I'm tired of telling you that, you just don't listen? What do you think Minister Louis Farrakhan feels like? Telling how many millions of black people over 40 years of how to get their shit together, and they still don't do it, while his life is on the line. Even though he was part, an honorary member, even though he was part of an honorary member of the Masonic Order, that means that he gave you science that went against what they wanted him to talk about. But he did anyway to help save you. Not just black men and black women, because you know that if you studied Minister Louis Farrakhan over the years, he generated just from black people to humanity. He's a living testimony and giant within his own lifetime. If you want to give him his flowers, you give them to him now. But Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad were bad representatives for the Nation of Islam, and Elijah Muhammad and Pastor Gino Jennings smashed their ass. That's just how it went. Y'all can take it or leave it. If you want to be in an organization, Christianity, because that's an organization. Judaism, that's an organization. Islam, that's an organization. Whatever religion that you prescribe to is an organization. The message that's given inside the organization is a totally different thing, because they teach you white supremacy in Christianity as a message. Just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or as some say, just the messenger, or Elijah Muhammad, gave you a message for black people for their resurrection inside of religion. It wasn't for Arabs. It was for black people. Just like you all say that Jesus came for the children of Israel. He didn't come for the black people of America. He came for the people of Israel at that time. In his generation. And he spoke for his generation. None after. He spoke for his generation only. Just like Elijah Muhammad spoke for his generation, maybe 2 or 3 after. But the conditions are the same in which he spoke about decades prior. That's all I'm saying. But you had 2 bozos representing the Nation of Islam, and they should not have been representatives. No. Like I said, there's a few brothers of Nations of Islam that you could have had up there, even at that time. The math doctor is not dead. Minister Louis Farrakhan was not dead at the time that the question came about between, or the debate came about, Pastor Gino Jennings and Marvin Muhammad and Rodney Muhammad. Marvin Muhammad is from some new generation of Islam, new Nation of Islam. Not the old, but a new. And he couldn't even get that out. So for all of you people that's in Mississippi, even if it was a decade ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, this came across my feed. And as a former student of Minister Farrakhan, and a former student of Elijah Muhammad, and a former student of being an FOI, these clowns were bozos. So I understand you, General Setti. Even though you say that you couldn't fuck with Minister Louis Farrakhan after the fact that he said that he possibly could have had something to do with Malcolm's death. What are you to do, General? Huh? What would you have expected your soldiers to done, if you have any, if you gave your soldiers order to stand down, but yet you had an ops that spoke against you badly, that was one of your students? How could you be responsible for your students' actions when they loved you so much? Do you have any students? I'm just saying. Yes, to answer your questions, General Setti, you do have students. So why don't you be more real with them about that situation? Even when you said a couple of years ago that the Nation of Islam had Malcolm X killed, those individuals who were charged with the death of Malcolm X, they came out of prison $20 million richer a year. Whatever. Because they didn't do it. General Setti. But yet, you don't take back what you said. Even though it was years ago and you said it, it's all over social media, how you discredited Minister Louis Farrakhan for having something to do with the death of Malcolm X. Even Minister Louis Farrakhan said that he created the atmosphere, but no brother from the Nation of Islam shot and killed Malcolm X. Fool. Let's get that right. I'm just saying. Y'all get with me later. I got to get out of here. We got more lives coming up tonight on this CHANNEL. Yeah, I know you can spell. It's all good. That's just how I get out. Shouts out to Minister Kamola Muhammad from Muhammad's Mosque, number 27, in St. Louis, over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. And I give Kamola his flowers. And it is my hopes that he's still living. Him and Minister Ralph Muhammad from Muhammad's Mosque 27B in St. Louis. 100. Because I was living in St. Louis for a minute. Like 2 years. And I ran into those brothers. But my hometown is Chicago, where the headquarters at. But you got Marvin Muhammad, who says that the new headquarters is in Mississippi. Man, ain't nobody seen you since. Ain't nobody seen you since. Where you at, son of man? When he said that he's the head of Christ, I don't know. That's he just went off, And I don't care what religion you are. I understand religion. And I don't care what religion you are. You either Moses, the greatest, or either Christ the greatest, or Muhammad the greatest. Okay? And there were more people to come after these so-called great prophets who had more wisdom than them, because that was just for their generation. Y'all better stop playing with me. We ain't whack over here. It's your host with the most, MO, on THEMOSHOW Chicago, where the execution of knowledge is POWER. And if you haven't checked out my other channel, MOPOWERZ, here on YOUTUBE. If you're into traveling, if you're into history, if you're into audiobooks, if you're into visual books series, go over to that channel. MOPOWERZ, from Nigga Cigars, from Black Man of the Nile and his family, from the destruction of black civilization, from the demonology of King James, from As a Man Thinketh, from Babylon to Timbuktu, etc., etc., etc. Go over to that channel and watch, view MOPOWERC. And if you're from Chicago and you like Chicago anything, Chicago old school anything, go to my other channel, THEMOSHOW Classics, all one word, no space, here on YOUTUBE, and do the same. Subscribe, like, and share. It's your host with the most, MO on THEMOSHOW Chicago, live today. And I want to thank you for being here. I tip my hat to you because you could have been somewhere else doing something else with someone else. Thanks for viewing, you all. Peace out, and never give up on your DREAMX. Why? Because dreams do come true. Thanks for viewing, you all.